go.
It's
like
working.
Oh!
It is comp day. This is my very first main comp at an LZ World Tour event, going up against pro drivers and amazing drivers I've been looking up to for years. And today I'm really just trying to dial in my chase game. It's definitely not as strong as my leads are, and it's something that I've struggled with in the past. So this first practice session, I just forced myself to chase. My issues in chase are pretty much exactly my issues in the lead from yesterday. Like, I just need to slip the clutch and get to wheel speed behind people faster. Like, watching video back, the Corvette doesn't move unless I am like in wheel speed, committed, and then it moves. I spend too much time in this like this gray zone that's just from nothing to like full wheel speed, and I just need to get out of that zone in both scenarios. So my last chase run I had with Matt, and that felt really, really good. I had a really good run with Z as well. Zandara's out here ripping. I think those are the first like few laps that we've had together, so that's awesome. And we have one more practice, so I still need to dial in the chase, just get used to, you know, doing things that are new. Now I feel like I'm actually able to push this car now, which is super exciting. I'm excited to be in the main show, and I'm just gonna keep on working on it. We're gonna have a fantasy battle together. We're gonna have girl power battle, and I'm so pumped for you. You've been driving so good, and I'm just really excited to just give it my all, get some more laps in before battling Nate. And yeah, I'm excited to put on a show for them.
I'm gonna give you good practice, and you're gonna kick his butt.
You've been doing so good though, seriously. Like, to be out here driving with Z, with Odie, with Matt Field, like, I'm just so thankful to be here, and I've been having so much fun, and it's good vibes, as you did like similar FD padded vibes, but way more chill. Hopefully it's gonna be dry. I don't know.
It's gonna be perfect.
The weather's been
those guys
messing me up, man.
You were good though. Like, when I followed you, you were good. So just don't overthink it.
Every event, like, I feel like even my very first time testing the Corvette, like a month ago at OSW, it started raining, and I just was like, seriously, come on. And like, I don't know why. I think because I'm still learning to drive the car, and like when I finally feel like something's clicking, that's all I want to work on, and like keep pushing it, and then this other factor of the rain comes in, and I'm like, come on.
I mean, short term problematic, long term it's going to make you such a better driver. Because then you're going to see the rain and be like, oh, this again? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, one day maybe I'll be like, it's raining, yes, not, god damn it. But thank you for challenging me to fantasy battle. We're gonna go get it. We need to, oh yeah, that's another thing. We've been debating color and flare. So I am going to be putting some color on one of her cars at some point. I'm like, girl, we're gonna get, even if we gotta have a grunge rainbow, okay, we're gonna get a rainbow of some sort on her car. And I know you're having a tough time with color.
Yeah, and
she can't. She has to wear her glasses. Actually,
it's too bright for me in here, and the hat and the whole thing.
Maybe that's my strategy, actually. Going into fantasy battles, more neon on the car, please. But we're working on her, and then maybe I'll put a little more grunge and something.
Maybe a patch. I'll wear it. Something colorful.
Okay, we'll start with the patch. Yeah. And then stickers on her car that she'll find out after they're already on there.
Are you bringing your car to Long Beach? Well, you know,
I don't know.
You may find something on your car too.
The whole half is painted spray painted black.
It's a big skull.
You know what? You need people like us in the world. We balance each other out.
It's true, we do, yeah.
Next up, we got Zendara Kennedy against Collete Davis. This is going to be an interesting one. Two V8s and two very different machines.
Yeah, and both drivers, I mean, throughout practice and throughout qualifying and everything else, just progressed quite quickly. So I'm excited. I'm super interested to see how this is going to play out. Wheelbases of both vehicles similar, but the dynamics and how they actually move are very, very different. So let's see here as Zendara out front, Collete following in behind. Initiated there by Zendara. Collete playing it a little bit safer as they get through the wetter section there. Oh, there's a bit of a body check from Collete. And Zendara able to get back on the power and up to the third outside zone. A lot of angle as we get through the transition, but it lets Collete be able to catch back up. And as we get into our last set of outside zones, we get a little bit shallow there from Zendara, and Collete shuts it down. Don't know if that was just really, really tight inside line.
It just got a little bit sketchy towards the end.
Sketchy.
So we've had two fantasy battles. We've had two contacts straight away with cars crashed into each other. It looked to me like Collete comes in on a shallow line here. Does a good job on the transition, but Zendara pushing out wide, goes very late out wide, comes off throttle. Collete tags the door of Zendara's car, and then from here it just kind of gets a little bit unwinded, a little bit messy. Zendara's on the incorrect line here, so as she goes through on the transition, ends up kind of in no man's land here. Watch, goes back way too on the inside. Colette's way on the inside as well, so just kind of falls apart towards the end, but they're driving super hard. They're trying their best to put on a show for the crowd here at Kern Raceway. So you know what, these are fantasy battles. These are just fun. So I mean, it does look fun to drive, right? They're out there, no massive pressure on their shoulders, just want to have a good time, put on a good show. But I think the conditions, especially from clipping zone 1 to 2, catching everybody out right now.
Yeah, it's not easy when you're carrying that much speed. So let's see if we see any improvements here. Collete Davis out front. Now Zendara following in behind. Collete just putting on the rocket boosters, able to take off there. But Zendara doing a good job of cutting some line to get the proximity back. Now we see Collete back on the power through outside zone 3. Zendara chasing a little bit behind. We do see the difference in power between these two cars. Both LSs, but different setups for sure. And then Collete doing a phenomenal job there through 4, 5, and 6, and throwing a bunch of that 651 smoke in the air.
I'll tell you what, and the thing is, Collete Davis in the top 16 main event, qualifying in the top 13 yesterday, so straight into the main event. She's looking strong out there, very, very strong. And again, dealing with those conditions of the wet and dry, it's tough, and this is going to be probably, as we go along here through the fantasy battles, we're going to see a drier and drier track, which is not going to be an issue. But Colette's car, very fast. And you know, every time she gets on the throttle, that thing just moves.
Yeah, very, very fast car. She's super aggressive in it too. You know, just does not lay back at all. And Zendara's the same way. It's just how it all shakes out. It's tough when you get the changing conditions. So,
yeah, well, of course, again, you guys in Kern Raceway are going to make the decision. Cerise is going to have a chat with both of our incredible drivers.
Everybody give it up for these two drivers, please, and thank you! Oh my God, I have butterflies right now. I am so excited. I'm always out here with the guys, but I have the pleasure of being out here with two really, really gnarly women. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, we have two very different cars, but two very, very proficient drivers. You're getting out of the car? Give me female empowerment right now. Give it up. Thank you so much, ladies. You both put on such a good show. I mean, I'm gassed up right now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that spoke for itself. Who is your favorite in this fantasy battle?
I feel like we gotta give it to Z, man. The only reason why I was able to push so hard is because I've been watching her all morning. She's been fast, consistent, and this is actually the first time we got to really drive together, so I've been pumped.
I wish you guys could feel the smiles on track right now. All right, but you do have to decide. That was so sweet. Who is going to be your winner? Is it going to be Zendara? Okay. Or is it going to be Collete? Come on. Whoever's in the burn box is making this really hard for me. Okay, let me do this one more time. Z. Collete. I think we have to give it up for Collete Davis. Z, thank you so much. Everybody, Collete Davis. Thank you, love.
Well, you have it. Collete Davis getting the win, and you know, you can have a little check of how much damage she's done in that fantasy battle. I mean, it's, you know, it may just be for fun, but it still costs the same when you get it wrong. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You know, fun, it costs. It's expensive whether you win or lose in drifting. It doesn't really matter. So Collete getting her win in the fantasy battle. Sean Booth, Collete Davis doing well. It's good for the LZ compound right now.
I know.
Everybody's
For keeping
looking strong.
score. Yeah, for keeping score for the LZ compound. They're looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, we're going to see Sean Booth and Collete Davis in the main event top 16 later on today. So this is an extra bit of practice for them. So they're making use of it.
Yeah, you might as well. I mean, this is the best part about it. It's serious, but not serious. But at the end of the day, it's still practice for what's coming up next. And I will say, I think we need more matching race suits and liveries. Like, it's got to be a requirement.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I saw T-Pain's race suit today.
Oh, it's great. The Pickle Rick on the back of his helmet.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Let's hope it doesn't affect our next pair, which is going to be Nate Hamilton and Collete Davis, two amazing-looking cars and two drivers that have been incredibly consistent all weekend. But it's tough to be consistent in these conditions. Collete getting into the top 13, automatically qualifying for the main event. Nate, one of our higher qualifiers, and he qualified in 4th position. So this should be an interesting one. Two very good drivers. I'm looking forward to it.
As we get into the initiation point, Collette staying back just a little bit. Nate having a really good initiation, getting really wide to that first outside zone. Collette still back a little bit as Nate is able to navigate his way through the second. We should see him throttle up here real heavy through the third, but Collette starting to close that gap. So let's see what happens in transition. Collette transitioning in, but then diving in through 4. Can she hang on to it? Looks like she does, as Nate very gingerly making his way through the rest of the zones, but Collette starts to dive in and push that amazing looking car of Nate Hamilton.
You know what, Collette definitely not giving up on that one, trying to put a fight on towards the end. I mean, again, I'm giving you my gut reaction. We obviously discuss a little bit further afterwards, but this is how I saw it. Very cautious initiation from Nate Hamilton, and Collette even more so, just trying not to mess it up on the first corner. Transitioning here, you can see Colette's very offline, dropping off, and Nate doing a good job of staying to the edge of the track. And at this point, Collette not really forcing the issue, not much aggression. They both do well here to not have a major straighten up. Now, this is where Nate makes his big mistake. He transitions back and in the wrong place and misses this outer zone, but it's not crazy bad. And again, it allows Collette to catch back up again. So Colette's starting to grab some more points as she goes into that last corner, because Nate's on a good line, but Colette's doing some great aggressive stuff. So from my position, with Collette not having much proximity for most of the run, she's at a disadvantage, but only a slight one, because she does make up for that by getting back in the hunt, and the fact that Nate misses a zone on the inside. So not, you know, good run actually from in these conditions from both drivers. Definitely in the balance. I think if Nate brings any sort of aggression here, this could be his for the taking, but you can make big mistakes doing that too.
Yeah, it's still anybody's game here, especially with how everything is sitting right now on track as they leave our tire streets arch. Collette out front, and Nate definitely being way more aggressive in the chase here, almost impeding. I think he was able to get that to settle just right, but Collette doing a good job to get to the first outside zone, setting herself up quite well for the second. Now needs to get on throttle real hard for the third outside zone. Nate getting left behind. Is he able to grip the car up and dive in? He does on the fourth, but not quite enough. As they transition to our last set of outside zones, Collette doing a good job. Nate in a little bit deeper, but lacking some proximity. Not quite mirroring the angle perfectly. Not perfect. This might have been one of the chases that Nate would probably want back. So we're going to flip over to the replay here. I can already hear the judges discussing. This is not going to be an easy call. So let's take a look here. Look how close Nate is on initiation. He times that really well. But then from this point on, starts to struggle a little bit. You can see how shallow he is. The angle is not quite there. Now Collette does not get all the way out to that second outside zone, but does nail the third one. And then through here in transition, Nate dives in, but really holds the e-brake almost too long, and even being shallow, isn't able to close the gap there to Collette as we come through 5, 6, and Nate, once again, pretty shallow. So there's points to be given and taken away from both drivers in both their runs, and both judges are, all of our judges are very much intensely chatting about how this needs to go. Nobody's thrown any fists yet, but it's definitely a little bit of a heated conversation, and it's going to be interesting. I really don't know which way this is going to go. Yeah,
we have to have some heavy debate there. So we have a decision. We know which way it's going to go. And it is going to be a one more time between Collette and Nate.
So I'll take it one more time, I was so scared, and like in these conditions.
Yeah.
These conditions just messed me up.
But you did great.
Thank you.
My first chase with you, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, you got me from 1 to 2, like, so I was like, frick, you know. And then, like, the one more time was perfect. You know what I mean? Because it was like, all right, we definitely deserve to go again. But then from there, I tried my best to like push my front end versus like match your angle, because you like had more grip than me.
I was hella wide everywhere. This
You did,
window.
like, yeah.
Like even on your chase,
Yeah.
I was the cone killer. Like
Yeah.
I swear I probably swept up half the track because I keep forgetting, like in this car, if I'm not pinned,
Yeah.
I don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And especially on these tires, like I just in the wet though, in the dry I was like, I'm gonna land, I'm good, and I'm still conditions mess me up so much.
Yeah. Well, that was really fun.
Yeah, thank you.
That was my first wet laps in the GR, so thank you so
I
much
know.
for giving me good leads, you know?
No, it was
That was
good.
really fun.
I wouldn't want to do it one more time. Anyone else?
Come on, let's go Collette.
So we're going to go back to the one more time now between Nate and Collette. They were inseparable the last time. So hopefully this time we can see if someone can, you know, I mean, someone's going to have to take a risk here. It was 2 very safe runs from both Collette and Nate. It's not going to be enough to win the battle. They got to take a risk here, and they're getting more confidence. So let's see what happens.
Collette with a great jump out of the gate. Nate Hamilton way more aggressive now. I think he heard us. I think he's learning from it. Let's see as he puts that speed into the first outside zone, gets the car settled, gets it locked in on that outside line. Collette taking a bit of a shallower line to get the proximity in as they get up into our drier section. Nate throwing a bunch of power at it, able to get the car around. Big e-brake pull to transition through 4, and Collette starts to go a bit wide and washed out. Nate way more hesitant now getting into 5, and Collette is taking some cones along for a ride. As now Nate pushes really wide. It's almost like the tires are getting hot through sections 3 and 4.
Yeah, no,
and that makes it tough.
I
in
know
5.
a lot of people are going to watch this and say, oh, but they're dropping wheels at the end. So this very last section of the course is actually almost invisible to the drivers. Because of that sheen of water there, we're not deducting hugely for the finish of that corner. One, because they can't see it, and all the white lines that we've put on there are gone. Secondly, we just want to keep the momentum going to that finish line. So if that's the one part of the track. Once that very last quarter of the corner, it's very wet, it's very slippery. In the dry, we would be far more aggressive on, you know, wheels over there, but it looks to us like it's just not able for the drivers to see there. I'm not too concerned about that. That was a really good run from both of these guys. I'll be honest, Collette does wash pretty heavily, and the reason she does it is because she's got 2 of the cones stuck underneath her car, and they're not giving her a whole lot of grip. She also goes too wide on the center section. So I think in the chase, Collette just dropping some wheels off the track there, being a little bit, you know, messy in the center section. It seems to be catching a lot of people because you're going from kind of a dry bank then to an almost slippery inner part of the track again. And when they transition back, it was good. I mean, she recovered pretty well, but she took a lot of the debris on the track with her as well, and that sort of shows that she was too far off the track, because those, you know, they're a little bit over the overhang. You can imagine those cones as like a concrete wall around the track. That would be a big hit for, you know what I mean? So we have to kind of look at that. But again, it's not like I would say Nate Hamilton blitzed the run and ran away with it. There was some mistakes, but I think, you know, we notice on all of these runs that until we have 2 in the bag, it's very hard to make a decision, because at any moment someone can make an error here, and it's going to be like that until we see full dry conditions.
You could argue, though, by bringing the clipping points with you, you're not missing them.
No, she definitely got those clipping points, and those clipping points became friends with other clipping points later on, which she dropped off.
And if we're lucky, we'll have little clipping points by the time the weekend's over.
You never know. So a little bit of cleanup on the track. I think, look, Nate and Collette are starting to learn that where to put the power down, where to come off. I mean, the more laps they do. The only problem is, because it's California and because the temperature is so high, the track is drying so rapidly that every run it'll feel different in the car. You'll get to one point and go, oh, we're in full dry conditions, then boom, you hit a puddle and you almost spin out. So this is going to be a tough half an hour, and this is why the top 16 here is going to be probably the toughest part of the competition for these drivers, and that's why you're going to see some upsets left and right, because it's not about driver skill, it's just about reaction time to whatever's happening.
Yeah, it's it definitely becomes an equalizer, becomes an experience game as well, but it also kind of becomes a game of who's willing to take the biggest risk, who's willing to try something that's a little bit different, transition it in a different spot.
Yeah, Colette's
and that could pay off.
Yeah, Colette's been super consistent the whole way through the competition, so Nate's got to trust that now and go. You know, no one has really, you know, grabbed this battle and said, I'm going to win this thing, and that's what Nate will have to do right here.
So Nate, very aggressive again on that initiation, knows Collette can outrun him and does not want her to. Now, Nate does have a straighter line approach to that first one, causing him to go super, super wide. They'll have to go back in the replay and see if he had to reinitiate. a lot shallower now. He's seeing how quick Colette's car is. Nate diving into outside zone 4, Collette being super smooth through there, but now a bit shallower as we get into 5. A quick little body check there from Nate Hamilton as they get back on the throttle through 6. All that momentum is gone. They're just fighting to see what they can find on that wet track. But yeah, it is going to come down to, you know, who made the least amount of mistakes here. Great set of battles, though. I mean, super cool to see both these cars with incredible liveries as we swap over to our replay. So you can see here, Nate dives in on that initiation. Such a bold move because it can go so wrong so quick. And then Collette does go wide on 1, which does, you know, Nate is trying to use her as a moving clipping point, so he is going to come out a little bit wider on that. And then through this section here, Collette fires off, but then Nate a little bit more shallow, Collette going super wide, and that means that she is going to be shallow through there. And then Nate does give her just a little tap, just a little boop, if you will, and then across the line. So looks like the judges came to a decision fairly quick.
We have
on
a
that
decision. That one was a little bit easier because there was a little bit more reference point for us in some of the errors around the track. And going through to our top 8 is Nate Hamilton. Nate Hamilton gets the win and goes through to the top 8. And we'll be able to explain that. So, look, I got to say, that is phenomenal driving in these conditions from both drivers. However, Nate gets aggressive in the chase. Collette drops wheels off the track. And one of the biggest errors for us was into the last corner, where Collette, she overcooks the transition. She comes in very late on the transition, meaning she has to come completely off throttle to avoid going off track. That allowed Nate, didn't give Nate much room to work with. He bumped into her, but it was kind of Colette's fault because she was coming off throttle to try and stay on the track. So we've been watching that all through yesterday, and if you get that last transition wrong, you really can put the chase car in a position where it's nowhere to go. So to be fair to Collette, she doesn't spin, she stays on throttle, she finishes the run, and to be honest, it wasn't a huge margin between both drivers.
Your boyfriend's up.
One more time with you. 1 here, 1 more time here. Good job.
Collette, you ever seen him throw his hand out the window? He's a robot when he drives this. That was a good one. That was a good one. Dude's hand was out the window. How? You want a bigger lens? That thing's 18 inches long. What the f***?
As long as you bring it back in, I feel like.
What do you think, Kurt? What do you say?
I'm not saying it.
I won the class. Come on.
I think Dylan won. Oh wait, there's too many Dylans here. Collette won. Collette won.
Collette. 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 Collette.
Am I in the shot yet?
Yeah, you're in it.
Now I am, huh?
So it's supposed to be a nice golden hour, but it's not because I'm sitting on my car and not competing. Oh, so sad. I'm trying to be really stoked, and I am. Like, obviously I'm competitive. I wish I won. I feel like the first one was either me or slightly one more time, and it went one more time. And then, I mean, I couldn't bring it enough in the second one. But honestly, like, I'm just happy I didn't spin out. If you knew what the inside of my head looked like going into that battle, like all day today when the rain finally left, I was like, stay away, and we're like on grid, and it starts raining again. And then, I don't know if you got footage of this, but it also was hailing. For whatever reason, it decided to hail. So, this was good for me because it went well, and I pushed myself when I was super uncomfortable, and I just need to keep putting myself in these scenarios and let it easier and easier. I mean, that's what it's all about. So I'm pumped that I made it into the big show. It's so cool to be out here in the same comp as Field, Odie, like Dylan, Adam LZ. It was really cool, and I'm I'm proud of myself. I'm bummed I didn't get to advance, but honestly, like this whole weekend, I've just focused on pushing myself, and I really feel like the changes that we've made in the Corvette, this is my very first competition driving it with those changes, and I'm feeling good. Like I'm learning something all the time, and when those things I'm learning start to become natural, like I'm pumped for 2024. And now I get to turn into a cheerleader the rest of the night and cheer on all the other drivers out here. So overall, stoked to be here, had a really awesome event, and I can't wait for the next one.
Mike started doing it, he's like, this is weird.
Nothing going on here. His crew wouldn't clean this butt, so I got it, babe.
Mike started doing it, it was just a little weird, you know?
Yeah, but it might have been a little weird for Mike, but I got you. I got you, babe. Go get it. You're good.
Is this what you get for losing the last?
Apparently, now I'm on...
Butt cleaning.
I'm butt...
Butt cleaning.
Butt now. Beep.
I'm gonna change the E in your name to a U. Watch out.
Boothie won. It's good. I'm getting the new engine, baby. This is the beginning of color.
Oh.
I feel like this should be allowed. It is my car, and my car is gonna go on the damage I caused.
On the damage?
Hopefully it can cover it up. I don't know if I have enough.
All right.
Let's see. I sent someone to the store to get different balls to try and like fix this, okay? I gave her a little boopsie. I thought it was way more of a light boopsie, but it ended up being more of a boop. It's not what I intended.
Look at me, how did I get it?
I thought there was going to be one sticker.
I meant one type.
One area covered with stickers.
I'm trying
right?
to fix them. Look, see?
Yeah.
Are you uncomfortable?
Yes.
Okay. You know,
Can you
honestly,
show me?
actually, wait. Are you more?
Is that
Is this weird for you now?
I mean, now it's weird. Yeah.
Uncomfortable.
It's not working anymore.
No.
It's fine. Sonny, what are you doing over?
I'm trying to deflate the ball.
We gotta try the neon one first.
So Collette crashed into you and then brought pickles over and then was putting stickers.
I feel like she's
Pickles
trying to
and
say something because I acquired the balls, but again, balls are not my
Not her
usual
forte.
wheelhouse.
No.
So
we're
you have the needle, right?
Yeah.
we have balls,
Can we have the other
colors,
one?
and pickles for her all in one day.
It's
This
a
is
lot.
This is a big day.
I'm very overwhelmed. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
So Donnie's gonna show us how it's done, apparently.
They did this like 2 weeks ago, so don't worry about me. You know, my dog Kev bogged on entry and then I had nowhere to go, so my door had a nice day.
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of like the stickers.
It looks good.
Put it deeper though.
It's
like
working.
lower down.
Oh!
Wow.
Who's talking about TikTok over there?
She'll never know. She thinks there's a million on there anyway, so what's one more? Eventually, okay, we're gonna have some grunge,
Yeah.
but as long as you have more neon.
I mean, look, you got the torn jeans, which is one of the.
Hey! It's fair. It's only fair. I branded her.
see what she did in
Now
my
I'm
car?
officially branded. Oh, look at that.
Just 9 of them. Only 9.
My first knee tat, yo.
I thought there was gonna be one sticker, and I came back and
I had to cover up all the damage, you know?
Collette, what are you doing?
This is like VIP service.
We're just...
Smash the door and fix it too. TJ Hunt didn't fix my door. Luke, Dean Kearney didn't fix my door. They were my cars, but they took my doors.
You ain't seen me do body work yet, David.
I mean, this is, I have to say, I'm pretty impressed.
Hey, I drive with Sean Booth for a living. Don't worry about me.